Hi, welcome to the sew along for this little baby tee pattern. The one I'm sewing today is this one. It has a crew neck, little short cute cap sleeves, and a cropped hem. And the neckband is 3/4 of an inch wide. You could also choose to sew the scoop neck with long sleeves and a hip length body. And this neckband is a 1/2 inch wide, so a little more narrow, just to be a bit more dainty for the scoop neck. And that's the only difference between these two when you're actually sewing it. So let's get started. First step is to sew the shoulders. So I have my back piece here. I'm going to check that I have the right side or the wrong side. The wrong side, you can't really see the holes as much. You can see that. So I'm going to place the right side up, and then I'm going to find the right side up the front. Okay, so that's on this side. So right sides facing each other. And then I'm going to pin these. And then we're going to stitch with a 3/8 seam allowance from the inside out and narrow zigzag. I don't want to use a straight stitch when I'm sewing knits, so I'm going to use a slight zigzag so it stretches when I wear the garment. So I'm going to choose my zigzag stitch. I'm going to do a 1 for width and then about a 2 for length. And now we're going to do a wide zigzag to cover these raw edges. You can leave them as they are and either press them open or press them to the back. But if you want your garment to last a long time, you can zigzag. I'll do zigzag, I'll do a 4, and then keep it at the 2. And then just press your shoulders towards the back with lots of steam. In case the seam got a little bit wavy, the steam will help to retract that. We've sewn the shoulders. We're gonna now sew the sleeve to the body. So I have right side up, the right side up, and oh, this is actually the wrong one. You see here, this one has 2 little notches, and the front has 1 notch, and the back has 2 little notches. So you want the sleeve, when it's right side up, to have 1 notch to match the front, and the 2 notches to match the back. You can kind of see it there. And then you're gonna flip them so the right sides are facing each other. So I start with the shoulder notch. I put it right on the shoulder seam. And then I match these 2 notches. Put it in there. Then I match the edge. And then I'll put 1 more in between. I'll kind of stretch the sleeve and the body. Kind of show me where it wants to lay. So that's a good spot. Just line up the raw edges with each other. You could put more pins here. You can put another one here if you want. Since it is quite curved, it might be helpful to put more pins just so you get that curve right. So did the back curve, now I'm gonna do the front. And then you can go ahead and pin the other sleeve, right sides together, like so. And then we're gonna sew this with 3/8 seam allowance and narrow zigzag. After you've pressed it, it's gonna look something like this. And then we're gonna turn it inside out. So once again, the right sides are facing each other. We're gonna pin the side seams. So you're gonna start with the sleeve. You're gonna wanna match the two seams. Try to put them right on top of each other. So we are going to sew this t-shirt sleeve down to the hem and sleeve down to the hem. That's so if you sew it like this and then like that, you might twist the shirt a little bit. So we want to make sure everything we do it symmetrically. So we're going to sew from top to bottom, from top to bottom. That means I have to flip it over and pin it like this. So the bulk of my fabric is always on my left side when I'm sewing. We've sewn the side seam and now we're gonna zigzag over the raw edge. I'm just gonna trim some of this bulk here just so it's easier to sew. So we're gonna have to give that a steamy press to make it not wavy again. We're now going to work on the neckband. So I'm going to find the right side and put the right sides towards each other and sew the short end. I'm actually going to use a straight stitch. So we sewed the short end of the neckband. Now I'm just going to finger press it open, just like so. Actually, first I'm going to find the halfway point. I'm going to put little pins. And then I'm going to place the pin on top of the seam to find the quarter marks. So then that fold becomes a quarter, and then that fold is a quarter. So now we have quartered the neckband. Now we're going to quarter the neckline. So I will match the shoulders with each other, like so. Find the fold. So that's center back. Hold the shoulders again. Find the fold at the front. So that's the center front fold. Mark that with a pin. You have center front and center back. Lay those on top of each other, the two pins. Gently walk out the fabric, raw edge against raw edge. Try not to stretch. And then this fold is your fold mark. Notice that it's a bit in front of the shoulder seam. So it's going to look like that.
I think about you all the time.
And then I'm going to find the other quarter mark. You're now going to pin the neckband to the neckline, and we're going to do it right sides together. So I'm going to kind of drape it over, and I'm going to put the center back seam of the neckband against the center back pin. Place those on top of each other. I'm going to use that pin and repin it through all layers. And then I'm going to do the center front. So I have the center front pin of the neckband, match it with the center front pin of the t-shirt. I'm going to use one of those pins to take it out and repin. And then get rid of that extra one. Then the quartering ones. So place this quartering pin on top of this one. Turn to the last quartering mark and place this pin on that one. Repin, take that one out. So the neckband is going to be a lot smaller than the neckline. So we're going to put some more additional pins in between these quartering pins. And just make sure you stretch the neckband just so it fits the neckline, but try not to stretch the neckline when you're sewing, or you might end up with a wavy neckline. I'm going to sew the neckband with the neckband facing me, and I'm going to start at center back. I'm actually going to move this pin a little bit so I can access it easier. Start at center back. I'm going to use 3/4 of a seam allowance, 2 centimeters. So it's quite wide, and that's because the neckband is going to be 3/4 wide when we're done. And then I'm using a narrow zigzag. And then just make sure you're matching up the raw edges with each other the whole time you're going around. And keep that 3/4 seam allowance. So we've attached the neckband like this, and now we're going to do the next step, which is fold it over that raw edge We're going to sew around with the wide zigzag. And this is almost going to reach that seam line, and we're going to catch it with our zigzag. But at this point, you can put a tag in if you have tags and you want to use one today. This back neckline is going to get folded over like so, and I want my tag to sit right there. So I'm going to sew it to the neckband first, and then I'm going to do the whole neckline. So I'm going to go around this whole neckline and fold over the neckband like so and pin. I'm first going to cut off some of this extra by the shoulder so it doesn't get too bulky. Keep a straight line. Sometimes the shoulders can have little points like that. So I'm just going to cut that off. So I'm going to do a zigzag with a 4 width and a 2.5 length. And then I'm going to start in the center back from the right side because I wanted to make sure that the top stitching looks good. So I'm going to sew about 1/8 from this seam here. And while you're going around, just make sure, check with your fingers the whole time that the seam is laying right. So when you've done the top stitching all the way around, it's going to look like this, and you're just going to catch the raw edge on the inside like that. And then press it with lots of steam to make it retract. And now we're going to do the hems. We're going to fold down 1/2 inch towards the wrong side and pin that all the way around. Do that on the sleeves, the hem, and the other sleeve. I'm gonna sew from the wrong side so I can make sure that I'm catching the raw edge with my zigzag. And the last step is just to press it with some steam in case your hem is a little bit wavy.